Yes. Sorry.
Are the other junk, I just got an email from a loan officer from a buyer that brought his own loan officer, and he actually sent us all an email, and he said, oh, that fee, which was a junk fee essentially, is rolled into, is it in that big number? You used to know.
This number, the 1,500, includes all lender fees. That's what's good about the new GFE, in my opinion. Our origination fees, this is our origination charge. This charge is for getting the loan for you. Everything, every fee, all the junk fees are right here. So you have one number, and they don't separate them out: tax preparation fee, document fee, junk fee this, junk fee that. It's all in one place, one number. All right? And then the credit that is included will be paid back if there's a yield spread premium. Yes?
Were they required at some point in time to put those on there? I mean, I've seen them listed as yield spreads paid outside closing.
Yeah, no more. There is no mention of yield spread anywhere on the new GFE.
That was on the HUD.
It's not on the HUD.
Not anymore?
Not on the HUD anymore. Yes?
Origination charge on your example, that is, equates to 1 point?
Well, it's whatever it is. This could have your point. It could have your tax preparation fees, your document fees.
Everything.
It's everything. This is your total charge, everything rolled up into one. For the loan charge, not the total charges of the closing, but the loan fees that the lender charges for getting you the loan.
So all that hidden stuff is smashed.
Everything is here, so you got one place to see it. It's right here at the top of the second page. Here's what's going to charge. So it's going to be easy to compare.
And that's where the YSP is included also?
The yield spread premium is here. This tells you the yield spread premium. It'll show up as a credit. First it shows up as a charge.
Which is part of that?
Well, it will be if this doesn't have a yield spread premium. This is the par loan. This is the yield spread premium loan. They put the $2,000 premium here and then show a credit back to the buyer because it doesn't come out as cash at closing. It's charged to the borrower in higher interest rates and more. This much of it goes back to the mortgage broker. All right, now note the following. This is important. We now get to the charge for other settlement services, and there's a long list of those here. And here's what you need to know. And this is, I think, helpful. There are three categories. Those where there is no tolerance for change. Category 2, they can change up to 10%. Category 3, they can change any amount.
10% either way?
Well, that's right. Or they can increase. I mean, if they go down, nobody cares. But if they go up, it may affect your ability to close for 7 days. All right, but here's the way it works. What charges cannot change? Well, those are the charges that the lender charges to you and that the lender absolutely controls. The origination fee, the tax preparation fee, the junk fees. This number, that number can't change. Okay? There's a second category that is numbers that can change, but by an amount no more than 10%. They can't go up more than 10%. Things like title insurance or closing settlement services that are provided by somebody recommended by the lender. Okay? So these are lender provided or lender recommended services. Okay? They cannot change. Things like recording fees. The lender doesn't control how those things work, but 10% tolerance on those. And then the final category is those that the borrower controls. The borrower picks the attorney to handle the closing, for example. If that number goes up through the roof, that's not the lender's problem. They can increase by any amount. Now, those are set out individually on page 2, and then they are summarized on page 3. These charges cannot increase at settlement. Our origination charge, your credit points, your creditor charge or points for the rate that you chose, your adjusted origination charges, transfer taxes cannot increase. Zero tolerance. 10%, required services that we select, title, lender's insurance service, owner's title insurance, required services that you can shop for with companies that we identify, and government recordation charges. And that's 10%. And then finally, things that have no tolerance, required or infinite, required services that you can shop for and we don't identify. Okay? Owner's title insurance that we do not recommend to you, daily interest charges, homeowner's insurance, things like that they have no control over. Now these are set out in 3 tables on the 3rd page, and that is the basic guts of the GFE. All right? Now, there are 2 other tables on the back that I just want to mention real quickly. This one is voluntary. This middle one on the back says, you know what? You have asked us about characteristics of a different loan. So here's the loan that we're giving you the information on here, but suppose you wanted to have a bigger down payment or borrow less money or buy down the interest rate. Here's what your loan would look like. Here's what the amount would be and the interest rate and the charges for those loans. They don't have to give you this, but you might request it and you might see that here. And finally, you have a little table down at the bottom that you can use to shop. What is the charge for this loan, and then loan number 2, number 3, number 4. You can take this around to your different lenders and fill in the gap, and you have a very easy table to compare the charges from loan to loan. Now here's where it really gets, where you see it tied into the settlement statement. On the final page of the settlement statement, the HUD-1, there is a table. I don't know where I put it, but there is a table on the last page of the settlement statement that repeats these 3 categories. And it gives you here, category 1, here are the charges that cannot change. Here's what's on the settlement statement. Now they're repeated on page 1 and 2 of the settlement statement that for our purposes look like the ones we have now. They're very different, but page 1, page 2, credits and charges, the amount of the loan in the back, the costs of the loan for each party, total at the bottom. Then page 3, category 1, these things can't change. On the good faith estimate, on the settlement statement, so you have at a glance. Hey, wait a minute, this one's higher than it was on the GFE, and it says they can't change. Nobody better be giving you anything like that. These could change, but not by more than 10%. GFE, settlement statement. So they better not be more than 10% higher. And these, you controlled. Here's what's on the GFE, here's what your charge is, that's your tough luck, you chose these providers. Okay? Now, at some point, if these things have gone up, what do we have to do? We have to go back and see whether the APR was affected by more than 0.125 or more than 0.25. And if it was, we have to issue a new GFE and wait another 7 days.
Which charges does the APR include?
The APR charges all lender-originated charges, not the charges of the closing, but all lender charges. Okay? All right, you got the basic theory about how this works. Now, there's a whole lot more to it. I do definitely invite you to look at the materials that NAR has on their website about the new GFE and APR. They have a lot of the HUD-1. They're very useful stuff. Guys, listen, I really appreciate your patience. We had one question, one remaining question.
How do you get the lender to give you a real GFE and not a worksheet, which is what they've always been that they're not doing?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I don't know how you get them to do that, but if that worksheet is what they give you, then they're going to be bound by it. I've heard a lot of complaints about that. The question is, how do you get them to give you a real GFE instead of a worksheet? Well, the worksheet should contain everything that would go on the GFE. It's in a different form, though. It's broken down, for example.
What they're saying is they won't give you a GFE until after they have a ratified contract.
Oh, that's baloney. That's not what the rule says. Thanks, guys. I appreciate your patience.